Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Panthers Football. I'm John Halpin, here with Max Henson from Panthers.com. Thanks for joining us for the fantasy segment, Max.
Good to be here.
Yeah, we're excited. We're going to talk some fantasy football like we always do in this spot every week. First up, we're going to start with some news, notes, injuries. I think the big news in fantasy football this week, no Gronk for the Patriots.
Yeah, and talk about Rob Gronkowski, one of the most consistent fantasy players across the league. Patriots utilizing their tight ends, and with Gronk being just the red zone target that he is, he's been one of the more valuable players for the past few years now. So obviously his injury is going to be huge. I'm curious how it impacts a lot of teams' team. I know he's probably the linchpin on a lot of those squads. So it'll be curious to see how the Patriots and fantasy owners handle his loss.
Okay, so how the Patriots handle it, Scott Chandler steps in at tight end. Do you think, obviously Scott Chandler does not step in and become Gronk, but how much can he approximate Gronk's numbers?
Right. Well, there is no other Gronk in the league, so Scott Chandler obviously cannot really duplicate the type of things Gronk can do on the field. But as I said, you know how much the Patriots love to use their tight ends. It's something that's been a part of Bill Belichick and that offensive scheme for a long time. And we've seen Scott Chandler make some plays. We've seen him make some plays in the red zone as well. I would feel not terrible if I was forced to plug Scott Chandler into a lineup, just knowing that Tom Brady is going to use whatever option he feels is most open. And sometimes that's going to be the tight end in that offense. So maybe Scott Chandler gets into the end zone. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Scott Chandler could have a nice day. A few more injuries you want to know about. Tyler Eifert on the Bengals, 12 touchdowns, I think. Probably not going to play. He's got a pinched nerve in his neck. Ben Roethlisberger is going to play. He had a concussion last week, but all systems are go for him. Allen Hurns, wide receiver for the Jags, looking iffy with a concussion. The Arizona running backs, Max, I want to talk about. Right now, Chris Johnson out, broken leg. Andre Ellington, turf toe, probably out this week. And turf toe can linger. Everybody who has turf toe, they say, oh, I'll be right back, and it doesn't really work out that way. David Johnson, rookie running back, ready to step up this week.
Yeah, a fascinating story, really. I mean, talk about how good Chris Johnson had been playing for the Cardinals, one of the real surprise stories of this season. Ellington not available either. He had been a really promising young running back in that franchise. So now, here you go. Plug in Johnson and see what happens. This is a really good football team. Of course, I think, at least in my humble opinion, I'm not a fantasy expert by any means, Johnny Fantasy, but I would say a running back on a good team is always a better play because you expect them to have a lead, run the ball more often than maybe playing from behind where they wouldn't be in a position to run the ball. I defer to you. What do you think?
No, I like David Johnson. He can catch the ball, too, and he's going to help you with your DraftKings lineups. We'll talk more about that in our DraftKings segment right now.